Alright, so first of all, I don't hate Drake. I just put something there to kind of reel you in. You're here to check the rest of the information. You might get a mezzo you never had before. So, since Drake has come into the game, I realized that the music industry has changed a lot. And when I say since Drake has come into the game, I do not mean as a result of Drake. I just using his entrance in the game as a timestamp. I could also say the beginning of YouTube, the beginning of Instagram. It's all kind of the same era, right? Internet age, Gen Z or whatever them call it, Gen Y, whatever. But the fact is, say right now or for the past over a decade, the music industry has changed. When I say the music industry, I kind of mean especially for black people. So I'm talking about hip hop, R&B, Afrobeats, dancehall, reggae. Mainly those are the genres. Jazz, a little bit of jazz. Those are mainly the genres that I study more or less. I study the black genres, and because that's where my natural interest lies. For me to study up reggaeton and certain other kind of things, I leave that to other people, right? But long story short, when I was growing up, young people used to be at the forefront of hip hop. That's kind of different as to what's going on now. As well as there used to be a regional sound in hip hop. That has changed, and I feel like the success of Drake and the blueprint that Drake has been using, that has been replicated all throughout the industry, is one of the things that has caused a lot of problems. Even in Jamaica, I think that a lot of artists have been following the blueprint of Drake. Drake's blueprint is different from other artists' blueprint, or different from many other artists' career in many ways. A lot of artists reach to where Drake reached, and they try to separate themselves from the label. Drake is the only artist that I really know was hot and active and at the same time sold his whole back catalog. I don't know who else was doing that. When Lil Wayne did that, he wasn't hot. He wasn't at his peak. Drake did that at his peak. And it's basically the biggest record deal in music industry history, right? So a lot of people are looking at that. But where Drake is at right now, you can see where he's at. Why I really don't like what Drake has done to the people, I bet one of my brethren them Corofire $120 that Kendrick Lamar was going to beat him in the beef. And that beef has ended basically a year and probably 3 months ago, or over a year. The beef has gone on. Kendrick Lamar has been on a victory lap. Drake has responded by suing. He has said the lyrics of the song hurt him so much, put him in so much danger that he has no choice but to appeal to the courts for help. And Kendrick has been on basically the biggest hip-hop tour of all time, him and SZA. But at the same time, I can't get my brethren Corofire to even admit that Drake won. I mean that Drake, yeah, he won being called a pedophile, that's what I should say, by the whole world. So much so that he had to go and sue. But I say that to say that the level of cognitive dissonance that is happening in today's age, I would never say that it was caused by Drake, but I think the proliferation of the career of somebody like Drake, and the fact that somebody who has operated in the way that Drake has operated can still get respect and can still have people listening or believe in him. Because I mean, old music is old music. It's not everybody cares about what an artist does as long as they put out the music. I understand. But I feel like Drake's fans are going to, if you see Drake missing or he vanishes, I think the fans might have to be blamed, because I've never seen a situation. I never seen this. I never experienced this. What is more important about this situation currently now in hip hop? I've never seen a beef actually change the industry, and this is the first time. The beef with Tupac and Biggie, yeah, it changed the industry, but those guys had to die. The beef with Nas and Jay-Z, I cannot say that changed the industry. I can't say that the beef with Drake and Meek Mill changed the industry. But this one, I think it changed the industry. A lot of artists that were hot before this beef are no longer hot. And a lot of artists that nobody was listening to before this beef, a lot of them are being listened to. So the entire game has changed. A lot of people are afraid to put out music. The whole concept that you can just pay your way and pay all of that whole concept might even be getting torn down. Even by Drake because of this lawsuit. But the fact is one of the main things that Kendrick put forward is that you can't fake influence. So I believe that the game has to kind of change. It's becoming more and more impossible for you to spend money getting bots and be successful. And I think what is happening with Drake is a good example of that. He has had infinite money, but you can't buy respect. You can't just buy a good image. If you end up put out a bad image, you can't just undo it. So Drake is a good example of what can happen if you believe too much in the hype and if you follow up some of your fucked up fans. I mean, if you're not even man enough to keep your word on a bet that you're willing to do, I can see why you're a Drake fan. Because Drake pushed this war with Kendrick. Drake released several songs begging Kendrick to respond, and Kendrick responded, and then he went to court. And people who operate like that, I'm not sure how you can demand respect. I'm just not sure. You're the kind of person that if we was doing something together that we shouldn't be doing, you'd snitch. That kind of person, if I bring you around my wife, you're gonna try to talk to my wife. And these are all the problems that Drake don't really understand, that universally these things are not respected. There is no culture or society where you can go and try and date somebody's wife and be celebrated. That culture never existed. So the things that Drake does, the culture we have right now with underage women, there's no way you can explain away that. If people see you on video footage flirting with underage women, they cannot unsee that. But somehow we're in a situation where, the music is powerful. Drake's music is powerful enough to convince people to lie to themselves for eternity. And I want to say too, if you are walking around right now saying that Drake won that beef, then I really feel sorry for you. I really feel sorry for you. This whole court case that Drake is pushing, it's more showing the lies that Drake told as opposed to pushing any dirt on Kendrick. Because when you go to these and try to accuse people of certain things in court, you have to do discovery, which means you have to provide certain things. And you can't accuse somebody of something without them asking you, how did you come to that accusation? Like, how did you come to the point to accuse me of that? You have to show a lot of stuff. You have to show your secrets as well. And then I think Drake is the worst person to try and take somebody to court over something like that. The freedom of speech issue now, it's already affecting everybody. YouTube algorithm may completely change after this court case, because if for some strange reason they allow Drake to get away with what he's doing, every song that is written after this in humanity, at least in the American industry, is going to be affected. You're going to have people digging up songs from years ago and suing people, and it is ridiculous. If Eminem was to be sued for every artist that he spoke about in music, he would owe $7 billion. You see me? So it's not practical. But we got entertainment when he was talking about Britney Spears and them. That was entertaining. So there's no reason why we should forget about what is the purpose of the music. But I realize that we're really in a problem where the divide in the music has caused us to legitimately have to separate ourselves from some of our friends. And that's why I don't like what's happening now with Drake. I don't hate him. I hope one of his fans save his fucking life though. Alright? Big up.